All right, we're recording. We're recording everything I write and everything we say. Geez. So be on your best behavior, Will. All right. Who? You're right. Sugar, honey, iced tea. Anyhow, anybody have any questions on any of the practice set? I'm doing one in particular first. I'm doing 65 first. Okay. What is the function? I think it's f of x equals the square root of 4 minus x squared, right? All right. So what the question's asking of us here is it's asking us to find the inverse function for this algebraically. Correct? Am I right? All right. What's my first step? You guys got a quiz on this today. I hope you know. Yeah. Find out if it's 1-to-1. How do we do that? Well, I set f of a equal to f of b, and then I check to make sure what? So I set this, and then I check for whether what and what. Yeah. And see if a equals b. So let's do that. Let's do f of a. F of a is going to equal what? Exactly. That's what Jet said. The square root of the quantity, 4 minus a squared. And f of b is the same thing, except instead of an a, I put a b in there. Okay. Now, what would be my first step towards simplifying this? Let's square these things. Yeah. Square and square. So then I get 4 minus a squared equals 4 minus b squared. Okay? I can cancel out the 4's, right? I can also multiply both sides by a -1. And then I'm left with a squared equals b squared. So far, so good, right? Do I want to know if a squared equals b squared? No, I want to know if a equals b. I want to know that. Not this, that. So how do I get this into that? Square root it. All right, let's do that in green. So I take the square root of both sides. I'm sorry? So what do I get when I take the square root of a squared? Just a plus or minus a equals plus or minus b. Not a 1-to-1 function. Even though the back of the book says it is, which I'm still scratching my... I haven't looked myself, but the students in the first class said that the back of the book found an inverse to this function. And I am very butthurt about that, frankly. And I'll show you why. Because let's look at what this function looks like. Equal y equals, and then, yeah, we're going to graph and see what it looks like. I can't do it on this, so I got to do it over here. I'm going to say, I could have done it over there. The square root of 4 minus x squared. And look at that function. Now I ask you, does this function pass the horizontal line test? No. So can this thing have an inverse? No, because if I did an inverse of this, it would look like that. I would just tip it on its side. And then, is that a function? No, because it doesn't pass the vertical line test. So I don't know why they call it a function in there. Or, I'm sorry, I don't know why they call it why they say it has an inverse, because it doesn't. I'm very peeved about that. However, comma 67. That function was 4 over x. So f of x equals 4 over x. What's step 1? Yeah. Set f of a equal to f of b, and then check to see if a equals b. So this is 4 over a equals 4 over b. Now, cross multiply. 4b equals 4a. Divide by 4. B equals a. 1 to 1, right? Okay, step 1 done. Step 2. Replace. That. I want that. Well, I'm supposed to replace. Step 2 says replace f of x with y. And then step 3 says do what? Go ahead, Abby. Switch out the x's and y's. So this would be x equals 4 over y. And then what? Solve for y. So multiply both sides by y. Y. So x, y equals 4 divided by x. Y equals 4 over x. Whoa. Now, what's my last step? Replace y with the inverse of f. And I am done. Now, are we tempted to not believe our answer here? Hannah is tempted not to believe her answer. Why is that, Hannah? It's the same function. So here's what we're going to do. Just to check our work, what should I do? Jet's got this. So I compose f with the what I think is the inverse, and what should I get if I did this correctly? What should I get, Bonnie? I should get x, right? If this equals x, then I get a thumbs up. That's a really big thumb. That's a thumbs up right there, right? All right, so let's do that. So f of the inverse of f, so the inverse is 4 over x. And then what do? Well, I take, f of x says I take 4 and I divide it by whatever's in my parentheses. So I take 4 and divide it by 4 over x. I got a number divided by a fraction. How do I do that? I take the number on top and I do what with it? What do we call that but I flip it thing? There you go. So I take the top and I multiply it by the reciprocal of the denominator. So the reciprocal of 4 over x is x over 4. And then how do I multiply two fractions? You're just so disgusted with yourself right now, aren't you, Will? So I can do straight across, but what should I do to make my life easier before I multiply straight across? Cross simplify. That and that also can be that. And then I get x over 1, which is equal to x. Okay? It takes forever because this is a new muscle we're learning, but does it really take that long if we know what we're doing? Nah. Nah. All right. You said you had another one, Will? I'll get you one more. Anybody else have any other questions before we get the quiz handed out? This one specifically? No. The one we did yesterday with the rational function looks like this. X plus 3 over 2x minus 1. I'm having you find the inverse of something that looks like that today. So,